performance out here has been nothing but sensational.
USS Gerald R. Ford is an aircraft carrier for the United States Navy and the lead ship of her class. The ship is named after the 38th President of the United States, Gerald Ford, whose World War II naval service included combat duty aboard the light aircraft carrier Monterey in the Pacific Theater. On 10 September 2008, the U.S. Navy signed a $5.1 billion contract with Northrop Grumman Shipbuilding in Newport News, Virginia, to design and construct the carrier. Northrop had begun advanced construction of the carrier under a $2.7 billion contract in 2005. The carrier was constructed at the Huntington Ingalls Newport News shipbuilding facilities in Newport News, Virginia.
Naval Station Norfolk, and the commissioning of United States ship Gerald R. Ford.
The keel of the new warship was ceremonially laid on 14 November 2009 in Dry Dock 12 by Ford's daughter, Susan Ford Bales. In a speech to the assembled shipworkers and DoD officials, Bales said, "Dad met the staggering challenges of restoring trust in the presidency and healing the nation's wounds after Watergate in the only way he knew how, with complete honesty and integrity, and that is the legacy we remember this morning." 37. The ship's crest was developed jointly by the ship sponsor and first commanding officer, Captain John F. Meyer. In August 2011, the carrier was reported to be structurally halfway complete. In April 2012, construction was said to be 75% complete. On 24 May 2012, the important milestone of completing the vessel up to the waterline was reached when the critical lower bow was lifted into place. 41. This was the 390th of the nearly 500 lifts of the integral modular components from which the vessel is assembled. Huntington Ingalls reported in an 8 November press release construction had reached 87% structural completion. On 19 December 2012, construction had reached 90% structural completion. Of the nearly 500 total structural lifts needed to complete the ship, 446 have been accomplished. The island was landed and accompanying ceremony took place on 26 January 2013. On 7 May 2013, the last of 162 superlifts was put in place, bringing the ship to 100% structural completion. On 11 July 2013, a time capsule was welded into a small room just above the floor, continuing a long Navy tradition. The time capsule holds items chosen by President Ford's daughter, Susan Ford Bales, and includes sandstone from the White House, Navy coins, and aviator wings from the ship's first commanding officer. On 3 October 2013, Gerald R. Ford had 4 30-ton, 21 feet, 6.4 meters diameter bronze propellers installed. The installation of the propellers required more than 10 months of work to install the underwater shafting. 51. Susan Ford Bales, daughter of President Gerald R. Ford, christens Gerald R. Ford. On 11 October 2013, the ship's dry dock was flooded for the first time in order to test various seawater-based systems. 52. Her launch date was set to be on the same day as her naming ceremony on 9 November 2013. 53. On 9 November 2013, the ship was christened by Ford's daughter, Susan Ford Bales, with a bottle of American sparkling wine. As of 2013, construction costs were estimated at $12.8 billion, 22% over the 2008 budget, plus $4.7 billion in research and development costs. Because of budget difficulties, Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Jonathan Greenert warned there might be a 2-year delay beyond 2016 in completing Gerald R. Ford. The GAO reported that the price cap would be met by the Navy accepting an incomplete ship for that cost. Gerald R. Ford underway for builder's sea trials on 8 April 2017. Aerial view of Gerald R. Ford alongside USS Harry S. Truman. On 23 September 2015, the Navy announced that several weeks of testing delays would likely slip the delivery date into April or May 2016. In addition, construction was 93% complete as of September 2015. In July 2016, a memo was obtained by CNN from Michael Gilmore, the U.S. Department of Defense's Director of Operational Testing and Evaluation, indicating that problems with 4 major flight systems would further delay combat readiness of the ship. The ship was not expected to be delivered until November 2016, and these issues were suggested to further delay that goal. Construction of the ship was described as 98% complete, with 88% of testing finished. 59. On March 2018, due to issues with the nuclear propulsion system and munitions elevators, construction costs had reached $13.027 billion, making the Gerald R. Ford the most expensive warship ever built. Planned delivery to the Navy was delayed by 3 months, to October 2019. In January 2014, the Annual Director, Operational Test and Evaluation Report recorded that critical ship systems in lab and test environments were not reliable enough and needed more testing and improvements. The Navy implemented a rigorous testing program to ensure performance issues would be resolved before the systems were installed on the aircraft carrier. Citation needed. Major problems with the main turbine generators were found in June 2016. 70. The fix, requiring design changes, was installed and was verified during acceptance trials in May 2017. The initial operational test and evaluation milestone was achieved in April 2017. On 8 April 2017, Gerald R. Ford got underway under her own power for the first time as she headed to sea for builder's trials. She completed the trials and returned to port at Naval Station Norfolk on 14 April 2017. On 24 May 2017, she departed for acceptance trials and completed them on 26 May 2017. In 2018, the Navy requested to delay shock trials for at least 6 years in order to speed up the ship's deployment, but this request was denied. On 18 June 2021, Gerald R. Ford completed her first full ship shock trial 87 nautical miles off Ponce Inlet, Florida, to ensure that she is able to withstand battle conditions. 40,000 lbs of TNT was detonated underwater, measured as a 3.9 magnitude earthquake by U.S.S. Additional tests were conducted in July and August, with the test detonations set off closer to the hull. The ship was determined to have passed the tests, and this concluded the trials. Gerald R. Ford left Naval Station Norfolk for task force exercise on 4 October 2022. The carrier was to conduct operations and training exercises alongside NATO allies and partners throughout the Atlantic Ocean. Gerald R. Ford's Carrier Strike Group 12 included Carrier Air Wing 8, USS Normandy, Destroyer Squadron 2 with USS Ramage, USS Nafal and USS Thomas Hudner, auxiliaries USS Joshua Humphreys and USNS Robert E. Peary, and the United States Coast Guard cutter USCGC Hamilton. Among the first NATO ships assigned to CSG-12 was the German frigate Hessen. Gerald R. Ford's first port visit outside of her home country was on 28 October 2022, to Halifax Harbour in Nova Scotia, home of CFB Halifax, Canada's largest military installation and home port of the Royal Canadian Navy's Atlantic Fleet. On 14 November 2022, the ship arrived in United Kingdom waters for a 4-day visit anchored in Stokes Bay, near Gosport. She returned to Norfolk on 26 November 2022. Gerald R. Ford's first port visit outside of her home country was on 28 October 2022, to Halifax Harbour in Nova Scotia, home of CFB Halifax, Canada's largest military installation and home port of the Royal Canadian Navy's Atlantic Fleet. On 14 November 2022, the ship arrived in United Kingdom waters for a 4-day visit anchored in Stokes Bay near Gosport. She returned to Norfolk on 26 November 2022. On 3 May 2023, Gerald R. Ford departed Naval Station Norfolk on her first full-length deployment and is scheduled to be operating in the 2nd and 6th Fleet's area of responsibility. On 24 May 2023, the ship arrived just outside Oslo, Norway for NATO exercises, hosting a visit from Norway's Crown Prince Haakon. She is scheduled to head towards the Arctic later for further drills. 99. On 26 June 2023, the ship sailed to the Mediterranean and arrived in Split, Croatia for crew rest. 100. In early October 2023, Gerald R. Ford conducted naval exercises with the Italian Navy in the Ionian Sea. On 8 October 2023, the day after the Hamas attack on Israel, the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, directed the Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group to the Eastern Mediterranean to bolster regional deterrence efforts. Along with the carrier, the group includes the cruiser Normandy and the destroyers Ramage, Carney, Roosevelt, and Thomas Hudner. The U.S. later also sent the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower-led CSG-2 to the Mediterranean to supplement CSG-12 in the same mission. While the carrier remained in the Mediterranean, several of the escort ships were sent into the Red Sea, where they repeatedly intercepted missiles and drones fired from Yemen.